It's that time of the year again, folks, and like every year on the eve of the Oscar nominations, we have the announcement of the 2022 Raspberry Awards, the 42nd edition. The awards will take place on the 26th of March 2022 in its traditional slot before the Oscars, and usually with no one in attendance anyway. It's the one show that hasn't been affected by the pandemic's social distancing laws. The awards are based on votes from the members of the Golden Raspberry Foundation, and the awards are always usually better known as the Razzies. The one category I found absolutely hilarious this year was a special category specially created for the 2022 awards. This category was called Worst Performance by Bruce Willis in a 2021 movie, and with 8 movies to choose from, he certainly made the category much more interesting. Now, I haven't had the pleasure, or should I say displeasure, of watching any of these 8 movies that Bruce Willis has made in the last year. In many ways, it's quite sad to see the descent of Bruce Willis's once blossoming career. The actor has become a parody of himself, as he used to be the headline act in big action movies like the Die Hard series. And every now and again he could show that he could act if he wanted to, with great performances like in The Sixth Sense. But Bruce of late acts in a lot of action B-grade movies, films that in the old days would have been released straight to DVD. Bruce has always gone to the beat of his own drum, and somehow I don't even feel he really cares about having a special category dedicated to him. The film, though, with the most nominations this year is Diana the Musical. Yes, you heard me right. In a year when we have Kristen Stewart's excellent take on the fallen princess, not to mention the Crown's version of the story of Princess Diana. But not to worry, a few people sat around a table and thought it would be a brilliant idea to do a musical version of Princess Diana's tragic tale. I can't even believe this movie sees the light of day, and it frankly deserves all of its 9 nominations. In second place with 5 nominations is the, wait for it, dark comedy drama thriller film, yes, that's how it's described, called Karen, starring Taryn Manning, whose music I actually used to listen to, which was part of Boomcat in the early 2000s. This film is titled Karen because it apparently is in reference to the American stereotype of a woman called Karen, an entitled, racist, and demanding white woman. Now, the film's actual plot is a white woman trying to get a young black couple out of their house that they live next door to her in. Now, to make a film like this, you need a superb director and writer to handle such sensitive subject matter. Coke Daniels is neither of these. And this film has rightly been lambasted by critics worldwide, also has been deemed very controversial and somewhat insulting. Now, in third place for nominations, we have the earnest yet poorly made Woman in the Window. Now, this one did surprise me. Not because it's a great film by any means, but the fact that Amy Adams, a great actress, gets 2 nominations this year. One for Worst Actress in Woman in the Window, and then one for Worst Supporting Actress in the horrible musical Dear Evan Hansen. Now, Woman in the Window was directed by Joe Wright, of Atonement Darkest Hour fame, and it stars Gary Oldman and Anthony Mackie. And it just goes to show you that even with a good cast and a generally good director, everyone can have their bad days. Hopefully Amy and Joe can bounce back from this horrible film. Now, firstly, let's talk about the shock nominations this year for me. Ben Affleck gets nominated for Worst Supporting Actor for his role in The Last Duel as Count Pierre d'Alençon. Now, albeit the role wasn't spellbinding, I found him to be more than satisfactory in this polite role, as he was really a secondary player in the movie. The other one I was taken aback by in one sense, and then the other side wasn't quite surprised by, was Jared Leto's take as Paolo Gucci in The House of Gucci's. Unrecognizable under all the prosthetic makeup, he was hilarious in this role for me. He completely overacts, and he's just completely odd in the film, to say the least. If this were a comedy, I think he was fantastic. But the problem lies in that House of Gucci is a serious drama, and I don't know if he's actually intentionally trying to make me laugh. Now let's talk about the actors that were nominated that didn't quite surprise me. LeBron James will go down as one of the greatest players in basketball history, but he is no actor, and this Space Jam remake of the 1996 movie with Michael Jordan in a role himself, who was no esteemed actor, deserves its 4 nominations. Seeing Mel Gibson on the list again doesn't surprise me, for his portrayal as Dr. Alderwood in Dangerous. Unfortunately, like Bruce Willis, Mel Gibson hasn't aged gracefully. And then unfortunately there is Mark Wahlberg. A man who is an actor has always made interesting choices, from some great films to some really poor ones. Unfortunately, choosing Infinite wasn't a good choice. And then, of course, there is Megan Fox. What more can I say? She's nominated for Midnight in the Switchgrass, which also stars, you guessed it, Bruce Willis. All in all, this isn't the most controversial year in Razzie history, but it's always great fun to see who gets nominated each year. Long live the Razzies.